two teams reached the World Cup final by completely different routes. One had needed late goals to survive nearly every knockout match. The other had barely needed a second gear, controlling match after match without much late drama at all. Argentina, the defending champions, were chasing back-to-back titles for the first time in decades. Spain arrived unbeaten across the whole tournament, built around patient possession rather than individual moments of brilliance. Lionel Messi, at 39, was almost certainly playing his last World Cup match of any kind. Ferran Torres, one of Spain's forwards, had spent much of the build-up answering doubts about his place in the squad. Neither storyline mattered yet. The final still had to be played, and neither side had shown any obvious weakness. The match kicked off at a stadium in the New York area, in front of a global television audience. Spain's plan was familiar by now: control the ball, wait for spacing, avoid unnecessary risk in their own half. Argentina's plan leaned on organization first, then relied on moments of individual quality to finish attacks. In goal for Argentina stood Emiliano Martinez, already known for big performances in exactly this kind of match. Spain's own goalkeeper, Unai Simon, had conceded remarkably little across the tournament's earlier rounds. Both teams had scored in nearly every knockout match so far. A scoreless final seemed unlikely to either side. What followed instead was 90 minutes, then extra time, before either goalkeeper's night truly earned its place in the record books. Spain began the way they'd begun most matches this tournament: patient short passes, testing for gaps without forcing anything. Argentina sat slightly deeper than usual, content to let Spain hold the ball far from their own goal. Early chances were rare on both sides. The opening exchanges felt more like a chess match than a final. That pattern would not change much for a very long time. Spain's possession climbed steadily through the first half without turning into many clear shots on goal. When shots did arrive, Emiliano Martinez was there first, reading angles and cutting down space before the ball ever reached him. One save in the first half, low to his right, stopped what looked like a certain opening goal. Argentina's best moments came on the counter, catching Spain's fullbacks pushed high up the pitch. Messi drifted between lines, looking for the half space where he could receive and turn quickly. Neither approach produced a breakthrough before halftime. The teams walked off level at 0-0. The second half followed a similar shape: Spain patient, Argentina compact, both wary of the first real mistake. Martinez made a second important save midway through the half, punching clear a dangerous low cross. Spain's midfield began finding pockets closer to the box, forcing Argentina's defense into more direct duels. Each save extended the scoreline at 0-0, and each minute made the eventual winner feel more significant. With 20 minutes left, Spain introduced fresh legs from the bench, looking to change the picture up front. Ferran Torres came on just past the hour mark, replacing Mikel Oyarzabal in Spain's front line. Nico Williams followed him from the bench a little later, adding pace to Spain's wide areas. Neither substitute changed the scoreline immediately. 90 minutes ended exactly as they'd started, 0-0. Full-time arrived without a winner, sending the World Cup final to extra time for the first time in years. Both benches gathered briefly before the extra period, adjusting instructions for 30 more minutes of football. Fatigue was visible on both sides by now, legs heavier, decisions slightly slower than they had been an hour earlier. Extra time began the way finals often do. Cautious, a little nervous, neither side wanting to make the costly mistake first. 3 minutes into the first extra period, Argentina's night changed in a single moment near midfield. Enzo Fernandez picked up a caution for a challenge the referee judged reckless, his second card of the match. The decision meant a straight dismissal. Argentina would play the rest of the final with 10 men. Down a player with well over 20 minutes still to survive, Argentina's shape had to adjust immediately. Spain, sensing the opening, pushed numbers forward, testing the extra space that a numerical advantage usually creates. Martinez faced a rapid sequence of shots in the minutes right after the sending off, saving each one in turn. One stop, a low drive from the edge of the box, required a full-length dive to his left. Another came from close range, a header he somehow got a hand to before it crossed the line. By the midpoint of extra time, commentators were already noting how many shots Martinez had faced and stopped. The tally kept climbing, 7 saves, then 8, each one keeping the scoreline exactly where it had been for over 100 minutes. No World Cup final goalkeeper had ever faced this many shots and kept every single one out. Argentina's outfield players, exhausted and outnumbered, leaned increasingly on their goalkeeper to buy them more time. Spain's front line rotated fresh runners at Argentina's tiring backline, testing the same channels again and again. Martinez's 9th save, a reflex block at close range, drew a reaction from Spain's own bench.
Every additional stop raised the same question: how much longer could 10 exhausted men hold out?
The answer for a while kept being a little longer than expected.
Argentina's backline began sitting deeper, conceding territory to protect the one thing that mattered: the scoreline.
Spain, patient as ever, didn't force low-percentage shots. They kept working the ball for a cleaner look. The second half of extra time began with the same number on the board it had shown for over 90 minutes, 0-0. Martinez's 10th save arrived early in that final period, another low strike turned away at full stretch. By this point, the save count alone had already rewritten the record for a single World Cup final. None of it had produced a goal for either side. The only number moving was the one attached to Argentina's goalkeeper. In the 16th minute of extra time, Yamal picked up the ball wide on Spain's right. He carried it forward a few steps before laying it off to Porro, overlapping down the same flank. Porro's first touch put him in space to cross, with Argentina's 10 men scrambling to cover the box. His right-footed delivery curled toward the back post, almost carrying all the way out of play. Nico Williams, the substitute winger, met it first, heading the ball back across the goal rather than at it. Ferran Torres arrived at the far post at exactly the right moment, connecting clean with his left foot. The ball crossed the line in the 106th minute, and Spain's bench erupted off the sideline. It was Torres' first goal of the entire tournament, arriving in the one match that mattered most. Martinez had no realistic chance to reach it. Even an 11th save couldn't have covered that near-post angle. For the first time in over 100 minutes, the scoreboard finally showed something other than 0-0. Argentina, still down to 10 men, now also had to chase a deficit with barely more than a quarter hour left.
Their response was immediate, pushing bodies forward, accepting the space that leaving so many players up front invites.
Messi delivered one more dangerous ball into the box, narrowly missed by a teammate stretching to reach it. Spain, ahead for the first time all match, dropped slightly deeper, protecting the lead rather than chasing a second.
Every clearance now felt final. Every Argentina attack carried the last realistic chance to level the score.
The minutes ticked down with the same intensity that had defined the entire second half of extra time. Martinez, still on the field despite his side chasing the match, made one final save deep into stoppage time. It kept the deficit at a single goal, but there was no time left for Argentina to use it. The referee's whistle ended the match in the 120th minute, plus the seconds added on top. Spain had won the World Cup final 1-0 on a goal built entirely by 3 substitutes and 1 starter. Yamal had provided the pass that started it. Porro delivered the cross. Williams redirected it. Torres finished it. 4 different contributors, 3 of them introduced or repositioned deep into the match, combined for the only goal of the night. Spain lifted their second World Cup, their first since 2010, ending a 16-year wait. Individual honors followed in the days after. Rodri collected the award for the tournament's best overall player. Kylian Mbappe finished as the tournament's top scorer with 10 goals, taking the award ahead of Messi's second-place tally. Spain's Unai Simon received the goalkeeping award for the whole tournament based on his numbers across every earlier round. Emiliano Martinez, who had just set a single-match save record in the final itself, didn't win that particular prize.
That detail alone says something about how these tournaments measure performance, across a whole event, not one match.
11 saves in a single final is an extraordinary defensive outing by any measure, spread across 120 minutes. It still wasn't enough because a final is decided by whichever side manages to produce one clean moment more. Spain didn't need many chances to win the match. They needed exactly one, built by players introduced from the bench.
Argentina didn't need to concede many chances to lose it. They needed to concede exactly one at the worst possible moment.
The sending off in the first period of extra time didn't decide the match by itself, but it shaped everything after. 10 men can hold a lead or defend a scoreless final for a long stretch. Holding it forever is a different question. Spain's substitutes made the difference specifically because Argentina no longer had the numbers to cover every option.
That's usually how a stubborn, scoreless match finally breaks. Not through chaos, but through simple arithmetic wearing one side down.
Martinez's save count will likely stand as a record for years. Spain's trophy will stand next to it in the history books.
Both facts are true at once, and neither one cancels out the other.